Hi, I'm Katrina Walker. I'm here in my studio to unveil the new Reliable 2000 FR cordless rotary cutter. Now this is a 4.3-inch octagonal blade, so you can cut up to an inch of fabric all in one shot. Now I'm already in love with this without even opening it yet, because I'm used to using its big sister, the corded version. Now I have actually managed to cut through the cord. Let's not talk about how that happened, but I have done so. So I'm really excited about the prospect of a cordless version. So let's go ahead and unbox this baby. So here we go, this beautiful blue box from Reliable. So we're gonna open it up and check it out. So I've been waiting for this for about a year, so needless to say, this is quite the moment. So of course, first thing we have on top is our beautiful owner's manual, which I will, of course, be reading very carefully before I use the machine. That's super important. So we also have some very, very heavy-duty sandpaper for, looks like for use on the grinding wheel. Just taking a quick look. We have some other parts, including a spare grinding wheel, and some screwdrivers and things to help us use our machine. Okay, ooh, lots of wrapping. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to take out, this apparently, okay, this is obviously the charging station. So to charge our battery, pretty straightforward. Find us a good place for that. So we have, two batteries. That is pretty darn fabulous. So that was one of the things I was wondering about is, okay, how much of a charge can I get? Because am I going to be charging part of this and then run out of juice and have to wait? So apparently you don't have to wait at all. This is it's a lithium ion, so you can't fly with this, but beautiful big old battery. I'm going to put those in the charger, get them going. And here it is. Isn't it beautiful? I love this color. I'm going to just set this back. Oh, and oil. Don't forget the oil. Sometimes we forget with machinery that anything with moving parts is going to need to be lubricated at some point. So here is our beautiful cutter. Wow. I really like the way that this guard is designed. So this is the cutting blade guard. This is to keep you from accidentally slicing your fingers off. You see how large this blade is. Again, it's over 4 inches in diameter, so you want to be really careful with this. And this is a really nice, I like the way that this blade guard is. It's see-through, it's easy to adjust, should be easier to actually see what you're doing. That's super important. Now I haven't read the manual yet, but I see on top we have a speed button here. So I must have the ability to, of course it's not going to be powered, I don't have a battery in it, but looks like we might have some speed control going on. Now I know from using its sister that underneath this there's wheels. So there's actually these beautiful rollers. They roll really well underneath the cutter. So the way this works is this little shoe that's on rollers, it scoops down in front. It's actually kind of beveled. Let's see if I can turn to the side there. There you go. And this slides right underneath your fabric. And I'm going to put this guard down so I can't mimic putting my finger into the blade. But it slides under your fabric and you can just gently roll forward. It's just beautiful. And it cuts through the fabric, it's like butter. That's why you have to be really careful with your hands and things. Now back here, this screw, that is actually part of the grinding wheel mechanism. See, there's a grinder right here, which means that you can actually, if you push on this while you're running the blade, you can actually go ahead and keep sharpening that blade. So these blades last a super long time. Truth be told, even after cutting the cord on mine, I was in a hurry. I didn't want to change the blade out, and I went ahead and kept cutting. And it kept cutting with no problem, even after having cut through metal. So these blades last a super long time. I'm happy to report that. So anyhow, so here is our beautiful cutter. Our battery packs will just go right into the back of the cutter there. I know it has special instructions on how to insert that. Obviously you don't want your hand on the trigger. I believe it has a setting, but you would basically slide that in there and be good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and get these batteries charged up so that we can fire this baby up and see how it does on some actual fabric. All right, the battery's charged up. We're ready to give it a try. Okay, so I carefully read my instruction manual. I'll make sure to do this all correctly. So when we look at our beautiful 2000 FR cutting machine, when we look at it, we see if we turn this over, so the battery's going to go in right here. And the first thing we want to check is make sure that the switch is set to 0. I insert the battery. All right, so the battery's in there. All right, now, when I turn on the switch, see this light come on right here, and that shows me that the power is on. Now there's a button here that says speed, and this is how we turn it on, by pressing it twice. But this also is a variable speed in that when you touch it, you can change the RPMs. So this will actually go between, to turn it off you hit the off button, but it'll actually vary between 800 and 1400 RPMs. So that's pretty cool. I'm not really sure what speed you use for which. There's one more thing too they want you to do before you actually cut with it, and that is we want to use our grinding wheel. So you see on the side here's this metal spring. I'm just going to gently touch the blade. So I said to do it several times, so that should do it. And you may see just on the bottom here, you may see a tiny bit, little specks of metal, so you want to make sure to clean up. And this has all been freshly oiled by the factory. So you want to make sure that you just test it on scraps to begin with. All right, so I'm going to turn it on and let's cut something. Turn the power back on. Oh, also, if I hold this button, it turns on an LED. So that's pretty awesome. So here I have some fabric. I'm going to roll this up several times. And of course, you want to watch out for your fingers. So this is a heavy satin. Heavy satin. And I'm just going to roll it on there, and just like butter. Now you want to keep your fingers away from it at all times. I can also move the guard down a little closer to the fabric. Now when I really use this a lot, or at least its big sister, I've been waiting almost a year for this machine. So what I first used it a lot was actually for cutting. So I first used the corded version quite a bit for cutting masks and hospital gowns. I really put a lot of work onto mine, cutting out fabric for those. And so this is 14 layers of quilting cotton, cut out to a mask. Now these masks are a little bit long. They're a little long in the face, so I'm going to go ahead and just trim them down a titch. So I'll turn it back on. And it's just that easy. So that is why I absolutely adore these cutters. It's just, it doesn't matter how many layers you're cutting, as long as they'll fit under the guard, which you can see I fit a lot more fabric than that. For the most part, you can just chow through it like it's nothing. So I really recommend this style of cutter for anyone who has wrist or hand issues, because it takes all the strain out. There's absolutely, it rolls so easy. You can use your finger. You can actually use just your finger to cut fabric, stacks of fabric. It's so simple to use, and it takes all that strain off. I'm usually cutting for kids and things, cutting whole stacks of fabric. And if you're using even a large rotary cutter by hand, that's a lot of oomph put into it. So I am super thrilled. I can't wait to use it in real life and put it through its paces. but I'm really kind of excited. You know, the light, it's definitely a little bit lighter than the corded version, which I'm kind of surprised because I thought maybe this one would be heavier with the battery in it, but nope, I think the corded version is actually a little heavier. Granted, you don't have to worry about battery life on this one, but I am super thrilled. It's a beautiful machine, and again, can't wait to put it to use. So I highly recommend it. Go forth and enjoy the new 2000 FR.